Let's dive in and let's talk. Today is going to be a really good conversation. We're going to be talking about self-reflection. This is by far one of my favorite mindset practices slash techniques. It doesn't require a lot of an investment into this one, but it has a huge ROI. Jeff G, I'm excited to really dive in with talking with you specifically how self-reflection has helped you. But real quick, before we kind of, talk a little bit with Jeff, has anybody ever read the book Chop Wood, Carry Water? Just show hands if you have. A few guys on here. Okay. It's a very easy read, guys. I'm somebody that I don't like to read a lot. I try my best to read. I'm not the best reader. Chop Wood, Carry Water is probably written in like a fourth grade reading level. Easiest book you can possibly read. I read through it 3 times already. And every single time I read through that book, it always does something or speaks to me a little bit differently. There's one chapter though where the samurai archer, he's talking with his apprentice and he's talking about this practice where no matter how hard of a day he had, where he felt like he was showing up, was giving it all, but it just wasn't to the best level. He felt like he wasn't good enough. And he continued to feel like he was having this thought of, hey, I'm putting in the work, I'm trying my hardest, but I'm never ever good enough. Has anybody ever felt like that maybe on their health and fitness journey where, okay, show hands, let's see a few guys. Let's say you're working out, but you're not seeing the results, and then you get discouraged. Let's say you're tracking your macros, you're doing really good at hitting your protein and staying within your calories, but at the end of the week, you're not losing any weight. I can see how it can become very discouraging, right? Because by paper, you're doing all the right things, but the ROI is just not there, you know? So this little exercise helps change up everything from somebody's perspective. And that's what all of these mindset techniques, guys, is to shift your perspective to help you focus more on what matters the most. And that's you becoming the best version of yourself. And real quick, before we, get Jeff over here talking all about self-reflection, think about it like this, from the book Chop Wood, Carry Water, the guy talks about how this one simple practice is a an exercise where at the end of the day, all you're doing is reflecting your wins. That's it. Anywhere from 10 to 20 wins that you had. And these could be small wins, these could be big wins. Like for example, it does not have to be just health and fitness wins like, oh, we hit a PR today, or, we went 20 grams over on our protein. It doesn't have to be wins like that. It could be wins like you spent quality time with your family. Maybe you got, a call or text message from somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe somebody gave you a compliment. Maybe you happen to make dinner for your family or go for a walk with them, or it could be anything. You happen to read a chapter of a book that you've been, on your book stand, literally anything. But what happens to your guys' mindset is that you start seeing all the things that you're doing right rather than all the things that you're doing wrong or that you're not good of yet. Remember, at the end of the day, why most guys fail is the expectations they give themselves. Hey, I should be here by now. I should be looking like this right now. Like everything should happen in these expectations. Well, what this self reflection exercise does, it helps us put our perspective instead of on the expectations on all the things that we're actually doing right. So now we're ending the day on a good note, right? Where it's like, hey, look at what I'm doing right. So one quick thing also before we dive in with Jeff is like uh, the importance of this, guys, is think about like your favorite athlete. Maybe it's LeBron, maybe it was Michael Jordan back when he played, anybody. Every top athlete, they always review their game footage, right? Any fighter, any boxer, any basketball player, football player, they always review their game footage. Think about self reflection as like you personally reviewing your game footage throughout the course of the day, you know? Even on the fights that when I was fighting, I would lose, I would still review my game footage, right, to see how I was competing, to just say, okay, hey, even though I lost, let's say this guy submitted me or this guy, beat me in decision. Look at the things I was doing right, though. It's like, hey, my defense was better or my kickboxing was better. So it's a way for me to reflect, no matter how good or how bad of that day is, whether you won the fight or you lost the fight, you can still pull something away just to reflect. And the reason why this is so important, especially as guys, is it embraces more confidence. You become more self-aware of yourself. You start seeing all the things that you're doing right rather than all the things that you're missing out on. And it's huge, huge for gaining confidence. So Jeff, I want to ask you a few questions, brother, and then we're gonna chat
Sure.
into ChatGPT, go on there for a little bit, talk all about self-reflection, mindset, and correlate it to our health and fitness journey. I want to ask you though, when you first got started, right, with Heartletics, you didn't really think of this being kind of like a mindset coaching program. You probably just thought it from, being Bill as just, hey, working out and,
Yep.
maybe eating healthy, right?
Yep. Yeah. Health and fitness surgeon.
So now knowing everything that you know, right? After, going through this coaching program, going through the mindset, going through these calls, everything like that, what would you think differently of Heartletics, from the outside looking in, as far as like the mindset, what kind of spoke out to you after going through it?
Well, it's the program focuses on both your physical and mental health, right? And that's where a lot of the mindset components come in, right? I mean, anybody can go for walks, anybody can work out, anybody can eat well, right? But the mindset transformation, that's what keeps you focused. It keeps you in a positive state and keeps moving forward when you run into those challenges.
Yeah, beautifully said. And with you recently going through the shoulder injury,
Mm.
would you say that since been working on your mindset since starting, like that's helped you continue carry on where despite the injury, it's not like you threw in the towel and quit, like you rolled the
Right.
punch.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Like it just, it was tough at first, right? But the mindset helped keep me focused on, and the coaches too, and the community keep me focused on the things that I could do, right? So I can't bowl for a month. Well, I can go for some extra walks, or I can do some more meal planning, or I can read a couple more books, right? Like just focus on the things that you can do, like you said before. Don't lock into the things that are you can't do.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like what you said, Jeff, it helps you restructure and
Mhm.
refocus, right? That's the key is being in
Yep.
alignment with your goals. So when you first heard about self-reflection, I'm sure I was talking about that with the same book, right? Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever heard of that before, self-reflection? Have you ever thought about something like that, or was that the first time ever?
I've heard the concept of it mentioned before, like end of like project assignments at work and things like that,
Mhm.
year-end evaluations, things like that, but not as deep as we've gone with it.
Okay. And since like doing some of this self-reflection, I guess walk through everybody like how do you do it? Do you use it on your phone? Do you actually physically write out like those wins? Do you write out the wins throughout the course of the day? Do you do them all at the evening time? Like how do you actually do this self-reflection exercise?
Yeah, so I habit stack. Every morning, I do my gratitude statements, and then I do my daily intentions, which is basically creating my checklist for the day, right? The
Yeah.
goals or even small little to-dos that I need. I put it on a InkPad app on my phone. It's in the checklist format, and throughout the day, I'm just checking things off, whether it's getting my walks in, whether it's the meal plan, whether it's I have this meeting here, I want to do this right after I get off work. I just plug it all in there, and then I checklist so that the self reflection piece is pretty easy. At the end of the day, I just look back through my list. And then I celebrate all the things that I got through, right? Like you said, some big, right? I try to find at least 3 to 5 big ones, right, that I set out to accomplish. But then probably another 10 at least small wins, like, in it. Hey, I got the garbage out today. Hey, I got the laundry. I got the kitchen cleaned up. Whatever the case may be, it gives you that sense of accomplishment once you complete that exercise. Puts you in kind of that positive, winner's mindset. I'm making progress. I'm moving forward.
Yep. Beautifully said, man. And that's the purpose, right? Is to shift your mindset to get it more into that awareness of all the things that you're doing right, right?
Mhm.
Rather than looking at the glass being half empty, you're looking at it as half full. Hey, I'm accomplishing this. So what kind of changes have happened, Jeff, since starting off that self-reflection exercise? Like, have you noticed more confidence? Have you noticed like a better mindset, more positive? Like, what has been, I guess, like the just experience, like the results that you gained from it?
I would say right off the bat, a stress relief, right? Like I've read in the past, a lot of times stress is not based on the things that you have to do, but it's the things you can't remember that you have to do, right? So that's a big one in putting that stuff down. Giving myself grace. Just because I put 50 things on my list for the day doesn't mean I'm going to get to all 50. Life happens, right? To say, okay, well, I didn't get to this today, I just shift it down and then I shift it back up to my in focus for the next day, right? So um that's the huge one, the stress relief. I'm pre-mapping out my day so that when I get off target, right, I just go right back to my list. I've got 5-10 minutes available. What can I knock out real quick?
I love that, man. I love that. Appreciate you sharing that. So Jeff, I went ahead and just wrote this in here for ChatGPT, and I said I heard of a self-reflection exercise where you write down 10 to 20 wins, big or small, that you have throughout the course of the day. What is the main reason of this self-help practice and how can it be beneficial? And it's very similar to what you actually said, Jeff. You know, as far as like the first one goes, you're shifting your focus back into something positive. You're seeing all the things that you're accomplishing rather than all the things that you're missing out on. On the second one, which is huge, building confidence. Confidence is so important, guys. Especially on your health and fitness journey. It's like a two-edged sword, right? When you're more confident within yourself mentally, you're willing and able to push outside of your comfort zone physically, and vice versa. When you have more confidence to push outside of your physical comfort zone, that's going to help you build more confidence mentally. Jeff, you mentioned that you kind of have a little habit stack routine with like your
Mhm.
journal and everything, and you mentioned about gratitude. And I like how obviously it talks about developing gratitude as well. And if you think about it, it's because you're seeing all the things that you're accomplishing,
Mhm.
and that's once again the importance of doing this self-reflection exercise. Reinforces discipline and consistency. That's
Mhm.
huge. You know, creating momentum in the mindset, right? As, hey, look what we're doing, right? It's these action steps. We're working towards it. Jeff, I believe you said how you see how you're progressing, you know?
Mhm.
And once again, that's so important to actually see somebody and all the things that they're doing right. It's just going to encourage them to continue to move forward. And here's the best part, like this is a simple exercise, right? How long does it take you, Jeff, to do this?
5-10 minutes tops.
5, 10 minutes, guys. That's it.
Yep.
5, 10 minutes of just writing down some simple things that you were able to accomplish. But look at all the benefits. All the benefits. It says here, enhancing mindfulness, self-awareness, combating perfectionism. All the time we want to be that rock star, right? We want to be that person that has the body, has the mindset, everything like that. Like, these goals that we're chasing when we're doing this self-reflection exercise, we can see that yeah, we're chasing these goals, we're going after them, but look how far we're making, right? These strides. So instead of being upset or worried that we're not there yet, or once again, we're seeing our progress. I like these tips, and Jeff, I want to know from you as far as like these tips go. Would you say if there's any other tips that you have to maybe kind of help out everybody else that's, maybe listening and watching in on this one? But it talks about being specific, instead of being vague with the wins, like had a good day, write down specific ones like completed my workout, avoided a sugary snack. The second one was include small actions. So win can be as simple as made my bed, sent
Mhm.
an email, anything like that. And then lastly, it says reflect regularly. And I'm a big fan of just doing this daily, making it a simple daily practice. Jeff, do you have any other tips that maybe we can give out to kind of help out other guys?
Yeah, that first one is very important to be specific, right? Because if you just, come up with cliche answers, like you said, had a great day, I think was the example. Um, I give myself credit for exercising discipline. I wanted a snack late at night and I didn't eat it. Right, good job. Right, this. I completed this milestone within my project. I did this budget planning that the wife and I are going to review over the weekend. It's like the more detail you provide, I've experienced, the stronger you feel after that sense of accomplishment of completing it.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Definitely agree. And then I asked ChatGPT this prompt, and I said, how can this self-reflection exercise be useful to help somebody on their health and fitness journey? And I was really liking the answers on this one because everything, guys, starts with the mindset. It all stems from that. So it talks about how it reinforces positive habits. And it talks about, how it can be beneficial. It says, acknowledging the wins, like drink enough water, got 7,000 steps in, chose a healthy snack. It reinforces the importance of making these small, consistent actions. Once again, we often see things from, oh, I wish I had the results now, or I wish I looked this way yesterday, but we don't see that it takes these baby steps. Small changes over time lead to big results, and so this kind of reinforces that where you can see it. Builds momentum, right? Motivation. And obviously, motivation comes off highs and lows, it comes off emotions, right? It's a roller coaster ride. So when you have a practice that you can do each and every day, just like Jeff, it's like you're embodying like, okay, hey, no matter how bad of a day I had, I can still find something I did right. I can still find some wins, something like that. And who knows, if you're dealing with, maybe you're just in a funk or dealing with an injury or something like that. But by doing this self-reflection exercise, you can see that, hey, even though despite this injury, I'm still doing this right, or I still accomplished this. That's going to help you, right? Change up your mindset. Number three, it shifts the focus from the scale, which is huge, right? We
Mhm.
talk about that all the time. Cultivates gratitude for the journey. And this is something that, Sophia, stop. This is something that has been a practice in myself, right? Doing the whole gratitude journal. Eventually, all right, hey, the practice gets a little stale, like you're grateful for this, you're grateful for this always and over. And so the self-reflection now, it gives you a different perspective on the gratitude where it's like, oh, I'm doing this properly, I'm doing this correctly. So once again, self-reflection, it cultivates gratitude for the journey. It strengthens discipline and consistency. And guys, this is like the key. Like if there's anything that I want you guys to understand the most, especially on your health and fitness journey, it's that as long as you just don't stop, you will eventually reach your goals, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen in 5 days. I'm not saying it's going to happen in 50 days. I'm not saying it's going to happen in 5 years. What I am telling you is this, because no one can forecast and predict the future. But as long as you just don't stop, you will eventually reach your goals, right? Consistency is key at the end of the day, but it's how can we be more consistent, right? Sometimes when you're doing your workouts and you're not seeing results, it's hard to be consistent. Sometimes when you're tracking your macros and you're not seeing the best results, it's hard to be consistent. And this is where some of the mindset techniques, it helps just puts things in a whole different perspective, just shifts your focus on like, okay, hey, here's how we're winning in these other areas of our life to
Mhm.
just keep our head in the game. All right, number six, increases self awareness. I'm actually want to talk about this real quick before we continue on. One thing, guys, about the self reflection exercise is that you can see your blind spots, right? So if let's just say you notice some trends like, oh, I haven't reflected on the simple fact like I hit my protein goal, right? Like, okay, now it's going on 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Now it's a week straight and you still haven't hit your protein goal. Well, why? So once again, like it's more than just self-awareness. It's about, hey, what are your blind spots? What are the things here that you're not really seeing where the self-reflection exercise can make it kind of more aware to the situation? Like, man, I really wish I was more consistent in this area of my life, or I wish I was hitting these numbers. I can tell that I'm not.
I think it's very similar. I do mine towards the end of the day. I do it kind of two different ways. I do it in my journal for one. I just kind of evaluate my day at the end of the day. I also kind of do a mental checklist like he does. Okay, yeah, I got this done. I got this done. This is what I could do better tomorrow. But you know, fell short today, but I'll do it better tomorrow. And that's what I focus on.
Yeah, so I self-reflect daily, and like Jeff, I habit stack. I don't do mine while I'm journaling. I do mine while I'm doing my meditation. So, if there's something in that self-reflection that comes up as something I need to, think on, I can move right into focusing my meditation on that topic and hopefully come to a solution.